Now at 5, new information in the search for missing University of Portland student that Owen Klinger's parents hope will help them find answers. Boeing under fire from the FAA, the government agency now accusing the company of withholding messages that show they knew about problems with MAX jets years before 2 deadly crashes. Plus, with the holidays ahead, we'll be thinking a lot about gifts, and an Oregon state lawmaker is hoping you'll give the gift of saving a life.
I have many friends that are low vision and blind, and they avoid the downtown area right now just because of all the construction.
First at 5, for people with disabilities, navigating the streets of Portland is a challenge. It feels like there's construction on every corner in the downtown core. Even though alternative routes through construction are required to be safe and accessible, that's not always the case. KGW investigative reporter Morgan Romero hit the streets to see for herself. Morgan, what'd you find?
Well, right yesterday I followed around a woman who uses a motorized wheelchair to get around. Jan Campbell and I navigated through a couple construction zones in downtown, and we ran into quite a few obstacles.
I think the way the city is now, the downtown area, there's people that do not want to come to the downtown area that have disabilities.
Jan Campbell relies on her motorized wheelchair to get around downtown Portland. She says that's easier said than done when she encounters so many construction zones. When construction blocks a sidewalk, the company must create a safe alternate route that complies with the Americans with Disabilities Act. It must have clear signage. And there shouldn't be anything blocking the path or creating a hazard like this.
This would be just a mess.
Jan feels alternate routes across Portland aren't always accessible. They're often steep, too narrow, or uneven. When we were with her, we found signage through the paths weren't directing pedestrians well.
Once you get onto the path itself, the walkway, that's the most difficult thing. And I think it isn't really well marked. Can you cross here? Because I do see some signage there, but you really don't know that it's to go across this way.
I walked from Goose Hollow to Pioneer Square to Northwest with a GoPro strapped to my chest, looking at accessibility in construction zones. In one area in the Pearl, I found caution tape, which isn't acceptable under the ADA. The act requires barriers be detectable for people who are blind or have low vision.
That is a tripping hazard.
Emily Cooper, legal director at Disability Rights Oregon, says the biggest issues she sees are alternative routes being inaccessible and lacking advanced warning and guidance signs.
I think the frustration I have is being responsive when there's an unsafe sidewalk is one thing, but what about planning so we never get there? What I would really like the city to do is plan better, so when they look at construction areas throughout the city, they think, how is someone with a disability really going to get through here?
Cooper feels companies familiar with ADA do a pretty good job, but she feels others aren't as well educated. So I reached out to PBOT for their response, and spokesman Dylan Rivera says their first choice is to keep a sidewalk open. But we found that's not happening much. Rivera says they try to avoid 2 closed sidewalks on the same part of the street at the same time, but they can't tell people not to build. He wants the public to reach out with any work zone concerns. If a temporary site isn't up to par, PBOT can make them fix it, or they can fine them if there's no access and it's egregious. If they receive an ADA complaint, he told me that would take first priority. Laurel.
Thank you, Morgan. We just got some new information about the missing University of Portland student, Owen Klinger. Police have released video from a TriMet bus. They say this shows Owen Klinger walking west on North Willamette Boulevard. This was October 6th. You can see him cross the street here. It's highlighted. This is at Portsmouth Avenue. This was the last night he was seen. We just talked again with Owen's parents. They're planning another search tomorrow, and they're asking everyone to keep spreading the word.
Just keep looking, keep talking about Owen. Someone somewhere must have seen him, and we just don't know who that is who has seen him, or who that is who can unlock this for us.
Police and the Klingers are also looking for home surveillance video from this area, North Willamette to Lombard and Fisk to Ida Avenue. If you have video from October 6th from about 7:50 in the evening to 10 p.m. that you think might show Owen, please notify police. New developments in the investigation into Boeing's MAX planes, which have been grounded worldwide since March after 2 crashes that killed everyone on board. Today, the Federal Aviation Administration said Boeing withheld concerning messages between employees about the safety of the 737 MAX jet. In those instant messages from 2016, a Boeing test pilot complained a flight control system was difficult to use. That system is implicated in both of the crashes that killed a total of 346 people. The FAA said Boeing discovered the messages months ago and waited to disclose them. The FAA has turned over the messages to lawmakers and to the Inspector General of the Department of Transportation. Caught on camera, stormy weather on the seas led to a sailboat rescue. This is near Yaquina Bay. This all happened Wednesday, and you can see how windy it was and look how choppy those waves were. The Coast Guard says 5 people were on that sailboat. Crews towed it to a safer spot. Then they had the passengers all jump into the water with survival suits before the Coast Guard was able to get them out of the water. Everyone did make it out safely. Last night, the Coast Guard closed the entrances to Yaquina Bay and other rivers flowing to the coast because of the rough weather. Let's take you outside for a live look from our Skycam. This is in the Dalles where, hey, look at that. That's really pretty, a view of the gorge. But unfortunately, if you're downtown and you look out your window, not so nice, kind of gray. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino joins us now. Matt, is the weekend looking any better?
Not really, Laurel, but if you want gray, I've got gray for you. Look at Timberline Lodge right now. The camera lens is just coated with wet snow at the moment. The temperature is only 31 degrees, so it has been snowing and blowing up on the mountain. This is Crater Lake, and you can just barely see Wizard Island. For the first time this fall, I see snow on Wizard Island. 29 degrees there, and the southern Oregon Cascades will get hammered with snow as well. So here's what it looks like for Mount Hood. Our snow level never gets super low, down to 4,500 feet on Sunday, but the heaviest snowfall will be tonight and into Saturday morning. 10 to 24 inches of new snow. Now, the heavier amounts, more like the 20 to 24 inches, will be from 6,000 feet and up. So Timberline Lodge could easily get 2 feet of snow. We still get snow on Sunday, but down to 3 to 7 inches new. Then it dries out and actually begins to warm up, but it is a rather impressive looking forecast for the weekend. Now, we have a winter storm warning up for areas above 5,000 feet in the Cascades, which in a way is great news because that means the Cascade passes will remain mainly wet, which is what they are right now. This, of course, is Government Camp, elevation about 4,000 feet. You see black pavement there. At Santiam Pass at about 4,800 feet, also just black pavement there and 37 degrees. And then the highest of the 3 passes that we look at, Willamette Pass, is a little over 5,000 feet, and even there it's 37 and just wet roadways. So that's the good news. The passes are getting rain. The upper reaches, the ski areas, though, are building the base and getting snow. Laurel, back to you.
We like looking at the good news. Thank you, Matt. It was 1 year ago that a gunman ambushed first responders. This was outside a burning home in Springfield. A year later, they say that night has had long-lasting effects.
We have shots fired at the house fire, shots fired.
That was the Mayday call from that early morning. At first, many of the firefighters thought the shattering glass was from the force of the fire, but they quickly realized they were being ambushed. They got lucky. The gunshots hit their fire engine windshield and no one was hurt. The man firing at them took his own life before police could arrest him. For many of those first responders, the fact that their families couldn't contact them during the ambush was the scariest part.
The media was on scene really quick. It was early morning hours. Our families found out about it, not from us, they found out from the media. So it was a while before we were able to contact them and let them know that we were okay.
Look at this picture. The fire department keeps that windshield full of bullet holes on display to remind firefighters they can get through anything. Some good traffic news for once. Cornelius Pass officially reopened as of 5 o'clock this evening. Crews started letting local traffic through this morning, including our Drive 8 right here. The road closed back in July for construction and was supposed to reopen in late September, but delays have kept it closed until now. The bad news, the project isn't done yet, and construction will pick back up again next summer. Coming up, an anonymous gift that will save someone's life. An Oregon State rep just became a living kidney donor. Hear why she hopes you will too. Plus, a surprise guest at Glenfair Elementary, the special reason trailblazer Anthony Simons was shooting hoops with Portland kids when we come back.